Welcome back, Flare community. Happy Thursday. I hope you're all well and having an incredible week as always. And you know what time it is? It's time for the weekly news update covering everything that's on the Songbird and the Flare network. We've got Professor in the house. We've got TRT, Valiant Energy, aka John D. We've got Alpha Matador. We've got James Rule. Welcome, my friend. Great to have you here. We've got Michael Brown and Eric Smith, Crypto Granny, of course, Hitler Crypto 2, and wow, Michael Brown, thank you so much for the donation. Honestly, it's very humbling for people to support what I do, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So we're going to jump straight into the news here, and we're starting off with the signal providers. This is the Solidify dashboard here, and if we scroll down, we can see that topping the chart this week so far is Nordso. In second place, we have Aureus OX. In third place, we have FTSO Plus. In fourth place, we have Eternity. And in fifth place, Flare Oracle. Congratulations to them signal providers who have made it into the top 5. And speaking of signal providers, you got to be a little bit careful out there. This is the Flare Metrics post recently about a new proposal about various signal providers that have been doing some dodgy activities, and there has been a complaint logged against them, or a proposal to sort of freeze some of these signal providers. So be careful if you are delegating to any of them. Each defendant has had a previous proposal passed against them, meaning if these proposals are passed, this most recent one, they will be permanently prohibited from further participation. And more importantly, you wouldn't get any of your rewards. I'd highly recommend, if you check on any of the lists, sort of filtering by those who are listed only. You can see it in the top here. I mean, if we take that off, all of these that are a little bit dodgy have had proposals lodged against them, and it really doesn't help the ecosystem as a whole, right? And that's what the data provider management group is all about keeping everyone in line and making sure that we're not sharing the same algorithm. And I just want to expand on this just a little bit. You know, the FTSO, it's a very sophisticated bit of technology, but it relies on many entities providing individual pricing data so that it can reach consensus and find any accused of colluding. Moving on here, this is Sparkles, the leading NFT platform on the Flare network, and the top 5 collections, of course, starting with Blockbones. Again, very humbling. It's been over a quarter of a year since we've had this place in the top spot, and we're looking forward to fresh competition. Maybe that will come from the likes of UPercent, who are launching their course soon. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge. We've been there for a while, and we don't plan to leave anytime soon. In second place, we have S-Toads. They've got some interesting things going on towards the end of this month, most notably, I guess, being the DApp that is long anticipated. So keep your eyes peeled for that. In third place, we have the Loyalists collection from Enosis, formerly FLR Finance. That's all of their Samurai NFTs and the DeLoreans. In fourth place, we have Luxury Lofts, and fifth place, making the charts for the very first time, is the limited edition BBX NFT. And if you do want to get a little bit more information about this, created by none other than Jon Snow, you can read the description here. It's a bit of a collaboration between Astral Credits, the BB project and the Phoenix project too. So pretty interesting stuff. Congratulations to them. And if we move on to the news now, so it seems like the Flare team are actually looking to expand their presence on the Twitter sphere by incorporating Galaxy. And this is, I guess, well, the leading platform for building Web3 community developed by Bullet Labs. Build and grow your Web3 community the authentic way. I'm not sure if it's that authentic because essentially you get rewarded for engaging with certain tweets, which I think is a good thing, don't get me wrong. And it looks like the Flare Network are really stepping up their marketing efforts and hoping to expand the community. And hopefully, we break from this subset of, I guess, XRP holders. A lot of people got FLR as an airdrop for being an XRP holder back in the day, 2020. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the network expands, because the Flare network is all about interoperability and broadening our horizons and getting people to bridge assets onto the Flare network so it can essentially act as a hub. So I'm happy to see that. Moving on, if you are a developer, the Flare team have just released a new version of their documentation. Now, it's very important that if you're a developer to check out the documentation, but more importantly, that documentation is clear and concise. And I've had a look and a review of these documentations, and they are so much better than the previous ones, which were already at a very high standard. So if you are looking to develop on the Flare network and interact with some of the novel protocols, maybe that's the FTSO, maybe it's the state connector, then you may want to check out this website, and you can find it on docs.flare.network. Moving along, there is a new integration for Flare's API portal, and they welcome Cosmos. So Cosmos, a very popular network, and they've incorporated that for the Flare API. And again, this is developer specific, and it allows you to fetch transactions and data from the Cosmos blockchain. They've got a lot of different platforms that they're partnered with, or I guess supporting. You can see them all there. I'm not going to run through them all, but if you are a developer wanting to get data about any of these chains, the Flare API portal is definitely a good place to start. This is quite an interesting, I guess, video here, a bit of a promotion featuring the Enosis. These are the socks from Enosis, and talking about the merch. So, definitely check that out. I think the only way to get some of this merch at the minute is through their promotion, which is the Gateway of Destiny event, which requires Canary dollars. You buy basically these boxes, which are essentially akin to raffle tickets, and you have a chance of winning all sorts of prizes, not just merchandise, but also some high value items. I'm talking MacBook Pros, I'm talking games consoles, I'm talking 24 karat gold bars and whatnot, and obelisks. It's pretty crazy. Speaking of Enosis, if you are holding Helion, that's HLN, or XFi, you are entitled to monthly Helion airdrops. The recent one occurred just a couple of days ago, earlier this week, and you can now claim them. So if you are entitled, be sure to claim them, because if you don't, the supply, or the unclaimed supply, is burnt. As you can see here, 208,000 unclaimed Helion has been burnt, bringing the total burn down to 4.5 million, which represents 3.1% of the total supply. So just a word of warning, make sure that you get them claimed, otherwise you're going to be leaving money on the table. Again, Enosis, we are incredibly excited to be working with Art on Internet to run the first ever live in-person Clover event at the Art Basel Hong Kong. So this is an art exhibition, I believe, and they're running this Clover event. And if you're not familiar with the Clover protocol, it's actually working in a real world environment, live in person at the event. So congratulations to them. I'm looking forward to seeing the expansion of Clover and many of the other protocols that Enosis are building onto other chains too. Kinetic, this is quite a hot app at the minute. Kinetic, we've got XDeFi, Both I'm following very closely, and if you wanted a quick overview of what Kinetic actually is, Kinetic is built on the Flare network for its innovative decentralized oracles. It operates as an algorithmic, non-custodial lending platform. Users transform idle assets into active strategies, unlocking accelerated financial opportunities. So let's break this down just a little bit. Algorithmic non-custodial lending platform. So non-custodial means that you're not relying on a third party. Lending means that you can borrow assets or you can provide your assets for a fee. So that's the basic gist of the platform. They're utilizing the decentralized oracle, also known as the FTSO, and also, unlocking, transform idle assets. I think they're sort of hinting at F assets here, which they plan to integrate, mainly being assets like Bitcoin or other assets, Dogecoin, that don't necessarily have smart contract functionality, right? You can hold them, which is great, but why not bridge them over in a decentralized manner and utilize them in platforms like Kinetic Market? They've recently announced a partnership with Skynet Trading as their designated market maker. So together they're going to provide the Jewel token, which is their native app token with deep liquidity, reduced volatility, and expanded accessibility. So that's always good. Looking forward to this. And if you haven't read their recent post, I'm sure you can find it here on their website. They break down all of the tokenomics of the Jewel token. We actually had a talk with them, a Twitter space with the recent ecosystem call, which you may want to check out. It was always good to talk to the team and help spread awareness. Moving over to Nebuchadnezzar, who created the Sparktons project. He's announced that there's been a merge with NFT Clash, which is a game where you can actually play with your NFTs and battle each other. This is actually really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing this expand over time and incorporate a more diverse selection of NFTs. But yeah, stay tuned. That's basically the interface, and these NFTs essentially battle each other. And I believe there is a prize pool associated with that too. Moving on to UPercent, they recently released a video, or I guess Crypto Eddie did, and this was talking to the founder, Jake. He's a really great guy, and they've got a lot of big things coming in the next couple of weeks. We've got a competition actually, but before we get on to that, many of you know UPercent, a learning platform where you can buy and resell educational content, right? The first ever UPercent course is coming very soon. This is Robin Hills, who's actually teaching it, and it's all about emotional intelligence. So that's what the artwork looks like as well, which is pretty nice. But yeah, there was a recent partnership with Blockbones, which I'm obviously running, and UPercent. We're doing a Blockbones, very humbled to have reached the milestone of the highest NFT collection on the Flare network in terms of volume. And like I said, we've been topping the charts consecutively for a quarter of a year now. 13 million FLR in trading volume. And this was, I guess early last week. It's getting closer and closer to 14 million as we speak. We had a huge announcement with a partnership with the Xtoad family. Of course, Xtoad deploying NFT projects on Songbird and the XRP ledger. And if you are interested in supporting both projects, then please consider staking to Xtoad's Validator 3. You may be wondering what you get as an additional benefit. Well, of course, you have an opportunity to win a Catchup NFT, but you also get paid S-Ribbits 2 each and every, I think it's every staking period, which may be every 2 weeks or maybe every 1 week. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, the funds that are received from this partnership in terms of the Blockbones side go to accelerating the rate of burn for the Bones coin, which is the native asset of the Blockbones ecosystem. And it also goes to contributing increased APY for the Enosis liquidity pools. If you're not familiar with the burn concepts, this is what it is. It's the Bones crematorium, where we use a portion of the funds that have been generated from maybe royalties, or like I said, this Xtoad partnership, and we add it to a smart contract, and it just burns for the next 2 years. Currently, the rate of burn is 38 bones per hour, but that's only going to increase within the smart contract. In fact, we can have a quick peek at it here. Within the smart contract, the burn rate can actually only be increased, and that's what this line of code here means. It requires that the rate is greater than the current burn rate. So it's only going to accelerate over time, and it's fueled on the project's success. Looks like we might have another big, influx towards that burn contract, because the very first special trait auction has just gone live. This special trait allows you to max value, achieve the maximum reward value for your Blockbones NFT of 100 of 100. So it covers all the trait slots, whether it's the head, whether it's the torso, the background, the eyes, or the mouth. This covers everything. And if you want to take a peek at that, this is what it looks like. Obviously, it's not going to be changing like this. It depends which base layer you fuse it to. But you also have chances to win. I guess you don't have chances. You will be able to claim or be airdropped the Bones coin as well, again, based on the project's success. The current bid is 10,000, and it does end in about 24 hours, so 7 days and 1 hour from now. So if you are interested in picking that up, it's going to be quite a steep entry level. So the price right now is 10,000. Of course, the auction just went live today, but I'm expecting this to go much higher, especially towards the end of the auction. One final note here from Blockbones, and this is something that I wrote, which was, I guess, topical at the time. We've seen a couple of XRP projects that are migrating from the XRP ledger to Solana. And, you know, my theory about this is to deploy on the Flare network, and you can effectively service all chains. The interoperability solutions offered by Flare are really impressive. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why I'm building on Flare, because I believe it's got a bright future. And I think, you know, data, off-chain, off-chain and on-chain, high integrity data and interoperability are really going to be focuses of the next couple of years. So just keep that in mind. This note here from the Phoenix project talking about what they're building and their, I guess, focus on the music industry. It's pretty inspiring, you know, and just to read this last little caption here, you know, they choose to build on the Flare network because it's fast, cheap, and scalable. But more than that, though, it is due to the community of people who inspire us every day to keep creating and the immeasurable amount of utility that is offered on the network. And I must agree, and I've got to take my hat off to Indy and the Phoenix project and everyone that's building on it, because they're really building something that is innovative and really pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And for me, that's an inspiration in myself. So great job. Be sure to check them out. It's at Phoenix Project Flare. So yes, I guess to round things off here, this is a tweet from the Flare network. The best practices for secure Flare and Web3 exploration. Number 1, embrace self-custody. And this is one of the fundamental things that I think is very important about cryptocurrency and one of the biggest benefits, right? Being able to hold and own your own assets. Of course, that comes with risks. If you aren't able to secure your seed phrase, you know, and you're actively sharing it, then you're responsible for it, right? This is the thing, you know, self-custody is great as long as you are, you have good security practices. Beware of centralized exchange risks. That's basically highlighting the fact that anything you do store on the exchange, you're storing it in their wallet and you're at the mercy of that exchange. Choose a wallet for you for FLR, Wrapped FLR, and SGB. A lot of the top wallets I'd recommend would be Bifrost, Solidify, or MetaMask for free options. But if you want a paid option, you can get a Decent wallet. There is a link in the description for a bit of a discount, or maybe even a Ledger device too. Take care of also social media security. And this is just a reminder in general about security. If people are asking you to send them some FLR or any assets, just always be cautious. Anyone that's creeping in your DMs, anyone that wants to help you, always start with an air of caution, because normally if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Well, that pretty much rounds up this week's news. I'd like to thank you all so watching, and especially Michael for that very generous $20 donation. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you for watching. Please feel free to like the video if you did enjoy this content. Of course, I do this every single week. Don't forget to subscribe if you do want to watch more content, and I'll probably be doing some more videos about XDeFi and Kinetic in the near future once they launch. And I'm thinking about doing a full recap of the Flare network because a lot has changed since I made the very fundamental videos about F assets and all of these core protocols, you know, almost 3 years ago now. In fact, it probably was about 3 years ago. So yeah, maybe we'll do a round of updates for everything that's going on for the fundamentals of the Flare network, why you should be excited about what is to come. That's it, guys. Unfortunately, there isn't going to be a Discord chat tonight as I do have other obligations, but I am wishing you all an incredible weekend. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.